All right, hello again, everyone. Hearing me for the third time today and the final time for today. So we've got one more video here. We want to extend our understanding of multiplying polynomials just a little bit further, and so we're going to go ahead and we're gonna extend it a little bit. We're going to learn something a little bit new. This video will be a little bit shorter than the last video, and this will be your last task for today. If you've really been focusing and paying attention and taking notes and doing all these extra problems and taking your brain break when I offered it to you, then this is really probably all we will have time for today. So we'll wrap up our day with this last learning here, and then we'll come back at this next class. We'll continue to build our understanding of multiplying polynomials. In the last video, I had you practicing multiplying a monomial times a polynomial. So we were multiplying something that had one term, like let's say 6x, times something that had multiple terms, like x squared plus 3x plus 1. That's what we were doing in the last video. In this video, in part 2, we're going to be taking a look more at questions where we're multiplying a binomial times a binomial. That is, something that has two terms times something that also has two terms. And this is where the box becomes especially valuable to us. So if we think back to how we were creating the box in the past, we have to create a box that has the correct number of sides or the correct number of space for two terms on each side. And that means that in this question, our box is going to look a little bit more like a square. It's going to be 2 in each direction. And we're going to fill in across the top and down the side each of our polynomials. Now, in this case, since they both have two terms, it doesn't matter which one we put across the top and which one we put down the side. It really doesn't. So I'm going to go ahead and put our 2x plus 1 down the side, and I'm going to put our x plus 4 across the top. That's just how I chose to write it. If we did it the opposite way, it wouldn't have mattered. We would have gotten the same answer. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and multiply the same way that we did last time. Okay, so we're going to multiply our x times our 2x. So we're trying to create this box right here. We're trying to fill in this box right here. And to do that, we've got to multiply x times 2x. Okay, so x times 2x. X times, or 1x times 2x. We're going to start with 2 times 1, which is 2. And then x times x is x squared. Okay, all we did was multiply our 1x times our 2x, and that gave us a 2x squared. Again, we're multiplying the length and the width. This shouldn't be too unfamiliar to you. If you've ever seen in the back of a composition book, composition books have these multiplication tables. We may have seen them before. And they go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. down the side. And each box is the multiplication of the length and the width, or the row and the column that create it. So 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, etc. Right? That is in the back of every composition book. That's all we're doing right here. Right? Each box is equal to the length, to the row times the column, or the length times the width. So let's go ahead and we'll put that back there, 2x squared. We're going to next fill in this box over here. So to do that, we're going to have to multiply a 4 times a 2x. And 4 times 2x is 8x. Okay, next we'll multiply this box right here, and that's a 1x times 1. 1x times 1 is 1x. And our last box here is going to be created by multiplying 4 times 1. And of course, 4 times 1 is just 4, so we can write a 4 in this box. All right, now we're going to go ahead and write our expression out. We're going to write one term at a time. But what we're going to notice in this question, unlike the previous ones that we looked at, we're going to notice that the diagonal line here, these are like terms. 1x and 8x are like terms. So when I go to write my final answer, I'll start with 2x squared because that has the biggest exponent. And we remember that when we write polynomials, we always write the biggest exponent first. Then I'm going to write the sum of these like terms. 1x plus 8x is 9x. And then I'll end with a plus 4 because that's my last term. Okay? Now we could have thought of this, well, maybe we would have thought to write 2x squared plus 8x plus 1x plus 4, right? That's 4 terms. 1, 2, 3, 4. But in the middle here, that 8x and that 1x, those two are like terms. They can be combined to create that 9x. Okay, so let's do another one here together. Again, we've got a binomial times a binomial. 2 terms times 2 terms. So as we go to set this up, we should set this up as a square like we did before. 2 terms across the top, 2 terms down the side, and let's write those terms in. 3x and plus 6, 1x and plus 9. And again, it doesn't matter which one I put where, right? We could have written the 1x plus 9 down this side and put the other one on the other side. It wouldn't have mattered. That would have been perfectly fine. Here we go. We're going to multiply 1x times 3x. So 1 times 3 is 3, and x times x is x squared. Let's fill in our second box. We'll fill in this box over here. So that's 3x times 9 is 27x. Again, 3x. Oh, let me grab a different color. 3x is the row, 9 is the column, and 3x times 9 is 27. Okay. We've got 1x times 6 to fill in this box down here. 1x times 6. 1 times 6 is 6. And there's an x as well. Again, this was 6 is the row. 1x is the column. 6 times 1x is 6x. Okay. And finally, we've got 9 times 6. 9 times 6 is 54. We do again have like terms right here on the diagonal. Most of the time, there will be a like term on the diagonal, so keep an eye out for it. The first term will be 3x squared. The second term, when we combine the 27 plus 6x, we'll get 33x. And then our last term again will be a plus 54 because that's our last number down here in the bottom. All right, so on this next question, we're going to kind of work together a little bit more. I want to get some input from you as we go to see if you're following along and making sense out of this. First of all, what kind of box should we set up on this question? How many terms does the first expression have? How many terms does the second expression have? So what kind of box am I going to need to build? All right, so we should be building a 2 by 2 here because our first poly has 2 terms. Our second poly has 2 terms. So let's set up that 2 by 2 box. It's going to look a lot like a square. Doesn't matter which one we write where. So let's write our 4x minus 1 and our 2x minus 5. Let's go one term at a time right now, and you guys can help me out. What am I going to get in this first box? What will I get from multiplying 4x times 2x? What am I going to get there? Okay, so 4 times 2 is 8, and x times x is x squared. We should have gotten 8x squared in that first box. Let's go to our second box right over here. What should we get in this second box? All right, so 4x times minus 5 is minus 20x. Third box. What are we going to get in this third box? This box I just shaded in white. What will we get there? All right, so we've got 2x times negative 1. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2, and we've got an x still involved here. And what about our last box? What should we get in this absolute last box here? Negative 5 times negative 1. Yes, of course, that is positive 5. Negative times a negative is a positive. Okay. The first term we're going to write in our expression is 8x squared because it has the highest exponent. Now, do you see any like terms here? We should see some like terms. There are some like terms here. we've got a like term with this negative 20x and negative 2x. When we combine those together, when we add negative 20 plus negative 2, we get negative 22x. And then we'll have our plus 5 on the end. Alrighty, we have 2 more questions to do together right now, but I want to let you try each of these on your own. So I'm going to give you a moment. Let's start with this question right here. I'm going to pause for a moment and let you guys work on this on your own. Go for it. Okay, so let's check and see if you got it right. We should have started by setting up a 2 by 2 box because there's 2 terms in each of my polynomials. We have a 3x plus 11 and an x minus 9. We should have multiplied 3x times x to get 3x squared. We should have multiplied 3x times negative 9 to get negative 27x. We should have multiplied x times 11 to get 11x. And we should have multiplied 11 times negative 9 to get negative 99. Hopefully we noticed that there were some like terms here as we go to combine our terms. And we're going to write 3x squared, that's our leading term, our first term. The negative 27x plus the negative 11x here is going to give me a negative 16x. And then at the back end, we've got a minus 99. Okay? All right, so let's try one last question today. This will wrap it up for today. I'd like to see you try this last question right here. 2x plus 6 times 5x minus 3. All right, so on this last one, let's see if we got it right. We should have built a 2 by 2 box again. All these questions had 2 by 2 boxes. We're going to write our first polynomial, 2x plus 6. We're going to write our second polynomial, 5x minus 3. As I'm going through this question, just follow along and make sure you got it right. Remember that these could have been reversed. We may have written 5x minus 3 down the side and 2x plus 6 across the top. That won't matter. We should get similar values in our box as we go. 5x times 2x is 10x squared. 2x times negative 3 is negative 6x. 5x times 6 is 30x. And 6 times negative 3 is negative 18. The first term in my answer is going to be my 10x squared. My second term is going to require me to combine my like terms because I have a 30 plus a negative 6, which is plus 24x. And we'll end with our minus 18, our last term down at the bottom. That will be our final answer, 10x squared plus 24x minus 18. All right, so that's it for today. You guys have done such a great job today working your way through all the material that I wanted you to learn. We practiced subtracting polynomials again. We learned about multiplying a monomial times a polynomial. And now we learned about multiplying binomials times binomials. Okay, so you guys have learned quite a lot today. Make sure you take pictures and submit into your class notebook to get credit for all the hard work that you've done today. And bring with you any questions you have to class next time. We will continue to work through some multiplication next class. And I look forward to seeing you later this week. Bye, everyone.